So this is the hair and face of a teacher who's just had the first day back at school. It did start nice and long and straight, and that's just school for you. That's one thing you will learn if you are not a teacher yet. Your hair will never be nice all day. It just won't happen. The younger the children in your class, the worse your hair is probably going to look. It was amazing when I taught year 6 because I actually would just have my hair down and not have the fear of losing my hair from scissors or getting nits. But yeah, first day back has been really successful actually, and I've enjoyed it. And actually after half term I was really excited to go back because I don't have children, I don't have pets. I've got friends and family, but school holidays are quite long and I do get ready to just see the staff again and see the children in my class, and I do miss the social aspect of being a teacher when it's the holidays. So I'm one of the few people that when it's the first day back, I'm secretly yes, we're back in school. Whereas I know some people are oh, holidays go so quick, I want to spend more time with my family. I'm actually the opposite. I'm always really, really ready and refreshed to go back to school after the holidays. And I know that's odd, and I know once I've got children and a bit of a busy life myself, I probably won't be saying that, but for now, I enjoy the social side of school and I enjoy having my lunch with my colleagues and speaking to people every day. I speak to people at home, but it's just not the same, and I think a lot of my friends naturally are teachers as well because it's not just a job, it's a lifestyle. So I'm friends with other teachers, and my school was off a week before other schools this year, so most of my friends are off this week, and I don't know, I just didn't really get to see friends, and I'm still full of cold and I had a bit of a flu, so that's how I spent my holidays. Great. But yeah, I'll stop rambling because I'm making this video to help myself mostly and remind myself of these things, but also to help anyone who's just become a teacher or is thinking about being a teacher or training about work-life balance, because it's so much easier said than done. And that's why I'm making this video, so I can say these things out loud, so I'll actually also do them myself. Because work-life balance is really, really difficult in this profession. You'll meet so many teachers, and very, very rarely will you meet someone that even appears to have the work-life balance, but then you'll speak to them and they'll probably be like, oh my gosh, I don't. It's really easy to feel like you're drowning, and I think it's just important to remember you're not alone like that. Lots and lots of people are in the same position, and your team are there to support you, and everyone wants to support each other. I'm in a few different Facebook groups and just follow Instagram pages of teachers and advice for teachers, and everybody is in the same position, and it's a really supportive community out there. So please don't feel you're on your own if you're struggling with this right now. It's really normal to struggle with it, especially at the start of your career. Last year when I was in NQT, I just felt like it was never ever going to get better. Already now I'm in my second year, it's 100 times better, and that's just in 1 year. So I know it will get better and easier to manage the longer you're in the job, and the better you know yourself, better you're established in your school, and you know what's there to support you and what jobs are and aren't as important. But anyway, I will get to my top tips. So my first tip about maintaining a work-life balance is firstly just to accept the fact you are always going to have a to-do list. That's probably never going to shrink, because when you get one job done, there's going to be 2 other things that you think of, and you'll never ever get all your jobs done in one day that's on your list, because it's just an ongoing list. So accept that that's there. There's always stuff to do. That's the nature of the job. But do the jobs that have the most impact on the children first. That's one of the best pieces of advice I ever got. Don't do jobs just because they're a job you like first. Think, right, I really need to get these reports done because the children need to see their targets. So that is the first job. Second job would be, I need to mark these books so that the children know what they're doing in the next lesson. Do it. I need to laminate something for a wall display. That job is just going to have to wait, because that isn't going to have the same impact on the children as maybe your other more important jobs. Or doing some sort of data analysis, really helpful information for you, for the school, but think, do the children need that done right now, or can that wait till later? That's just the best advice I ever got, because it reminds you as well, your job is to teach children and to educate children and give them the best start in life you can. whether it looks pretty or not on your worksheet, it's nice, but it's not essential. It's not what you have to do. It's not what you have to prioritise. So that is my tip number 1. Second tip is to make sure you have a hobby or an interest outside of school and friends that aren't just your colleagues. Really easier said than done, but one night a week where you do an activity, whether that be gym, sport, exercise, or going to a yoga class, going to a running group. I would recommend a physical activity because obviously all the mental and physical health benefits that come from that, but it could also be reading, drama, theatre, an activity that is for you, that is your hobby, nothing to do with trying to find something to add onto your CV, nothing to do with school. You could do it with a school colleague, but something that is just for you, and the only reason you're doing it is because you like it and it benefits you physically and or mentally. That is just something you have to do. It's hard, like when I was trying to save money, I found that really hard because I was like, I'm not going to go to the gym because I'm trying to save money. I'll just do it on YouTube at home. But then I didn't get the social aspect at all of the exercising because I was just exercising on my own. I think it's really important to be part of a group or a community or do an activity that just is for you. And I do volunteering. I only have to do a minimum of once a month, but I do volunteer quite a bit more. Yes, it's volunteering for the local community, but I do it because I like it and I really enjoy meeting people through that and doing what I do at the volunteering. So really, really would recommend doing that. Even if it feels like your week's crazily busy, it should never be so busy that you can't take 1 or 2 hours just for yourself because you really deserve it. Third tip is to not bring work back to your own personal space. So personally, I like to stay in school. I get in there early and I will stay late if I need to, and I will get my work done in school so that when I come home, you couldn't even tell I'm a teacher if you looked around my home. There is not a single book. There is not pens everywhere. I don't have a desk here. I don't need one because I work in school and I come home and my life is completely separate at home. I don't do my schoolwork at home. I might look at work emails in the evening or on a Saturday morning. If I'm just in the mood for it, I might look and get some ideas, do a bit of planning, but maybe just on my laptop at my kitchen table. And that's only if I want to. I never make sure I've got work that I need to do at the weekend. It will just be, I've got a bit of free time today, I'm in the mood for that, I might do it. But I never had that pressure on myself that I'm taking all these books home, I have to mark them tonight. Because I personally would just rather do it in school and have that separation. I know it's not that simple if you've got children or if you have to get home for caring responsibilities, but even then, my advice would be just keep it all in one room, in your spare bedroom, in an office room, just do it all in one room, because if you start spreading your books all over your kitchen or your dining room, it will take over your personal space at home, and it will just be a room that you'll not enjoy spending as much time in because you'll be trying to watch TV but looking in the corner and there's like a big pile of marking there. That's just not healthy, and it's invasive in your personal life as well, bringing school stuff back with you. Sometimes it's more hassle than it's worth. You get the big box of books, you bring it back, you spread it out, and then you don't actually even do it. Then you've got to pack it all up and take it back to school the next day. So I would just recommend working at the school where possible and not working at home. And definitely don't be trying to work in your bedroom or your dressing room, or no, it's just not healthy. My next tip is not being afraid to say no or saying you don't want to do something. When I was a brand new teacher, if any member of school staff came to me and said, will you do this? I did it. Whereas now, I'm only slightly more experienced, but if somebody came to me and said, would you mind managing this project, but I know in myself it's not suitable for my skills, it's not going to be enjoyable for me, I'm not going to be especially good at it, or it's going to be too time consuming, I am just now much better at being honest. For example, I will say, yes, I'm happy to do that task, but it's going to take me this long, or but I need a bit of time out of class to get it done, or I need to work on it with somebody else who can show me how to do it because I'm not actually sure how to do it myself. At first, I would have never said those things. I'd have been like, yes, I will do it. It could have been, literally, this didn't happen, but if the caretaker came to me and said, you need to mop every classroom in the school, I would have done it, because I was just thinking, I'm new here, I need to fit in, I need everybody to like me, I need to be able to manage all these jobs all at once because I'm new and I need to prove myself. But actually I realise now, if someone would have asked me to do something like that, that's not a good use of my time, I don't know how to do it, I'm not good at it, that's not my job, I need more support. And it's not embarrassing to say that. And actually, if you say to somebody, oh, I don't even know how to do that, it's going to be much quicker to admit that, they'll show you, and then it's not going to take you hours at home. But also, it's okay if you say no to doing an extra responsibility. If they say, do you mind doing this? Well, you could also just say, I really, really don't have the time for that right now, and it would cause me stress, so if it's okay, I'm not going to do that. Of course, you have to do the essentials for your job, and as a teacher, you always want to go a bit above and beyond, do an after-school club, that kind of thing. But if it's something completely out of your depth, just be honest and say, if you take on too much, you will be stressed. You will feel like you're drowning. So just be honest. My next tip is always prioritising your health, your physical and mental health, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing you've got. If you are ill, do not force yourself to do all the jobs you would do usually and just tell yourself you're not ill. If you're ill, you are ill. Your body is having these illness symptoms because you are probably run down and tired. Make sure you rest. It's so easy to just go in anyway, because it is quite a hassle when you know you're going to be ill, so you have to set cover work and there's going to be a supply teacher in there, not going to do everything the way you want to do it, and you're not there to print off the sheets, and you're not there to tell the children what to do. And if you're a control freak like me and you like everything organised, it's really, really difficult to be like, I am actually too ill to come to school. But if you have sickness or a really bad flu or a really awful cough, you shouldn't be going to school, because schools are breeding grounds of illnesses. If you're ill, you should be at home because you don't want to infect your colleagues and the children. But also, it's easy to force yourself to go in and just work through it anyway. But actually, you need to prioritise your health. Even if that means, you're well enough to go into school, but you don't feel well enough to do all your planning in the evenings. I try account for that. I try always plan a few weeks in ahead and have my printing for the next week ahead of all times, because you don't know when your car's going to break down on the way to school and you won't be able to print that morning, or when you are going to feel really unwell and you just need an extra half an hour in bed or half an hour to get ready in the morning because you're not feeling great. So always just be a bit prepared, and be prepared to be unwell on certain days, and think some days you're going to have a headache, you're going to want to go home as soon as school ends. Other days you'll be willing to stay till 8 o'clock and work because you're just randomly in a mood to work. So prioritise your health and listen to your body. If you feel yourself getting run down, don't work late that night. But if you always work in a couple of weeks ahead, you won't need to. You won't feel that pressure to do it. So yes, prioritise your health, be organised in advance, and if you are unwell, just stay at home. My last piece of advice, which is super important, and I've been guilty in my first year, I didn't usually do, is actually use break and lunch times to take a break. Lots of teachers will work over lunchtime while eating a sandwich and marking a book and sorting out a thing, and it's because you want to be efficient, you want to make use of all your time, and then you can feel like you can go home earlier. But the school I'm at now, what's really nice is we get a lunch provided, and all the teachers will sit and eat lunch together, the senior teachers, and I'm primary, so I eat with the other primary teachers and the children on a big table. And it's amazing because I sit and I eat a proper meal, a proper lunch, hot food if I want, salad bar, I hydrate myself, there's water and squash, and I sit and I just talk to my colleagues. And because there's usually children around, we're not talking about planning and assessments, we're just talking about, what did you do at the weekend? Have you got any holidays booked? And then I might chat to the children. What did you do for your birthday party? What type of activities do you like to do? And it's just so nice because it's half an hour, usually at lunch, where I sit there, I eat properly, I talk, I'm socialising with people. Because if you just work over all your breaks, you will get work done, but you're not going to be as efficient in the afternoon because you haven't taken a break and your brain's going to be exhausted. But also, when you're having a day where you just don't feel great, you're just going to be in your classroom working, and that's really hard. Whereas just socialising with the other staff is so nice and really something that you can take for granted. But at this school, it's having our lunch together, and at break, I make an effort to, my classroom's at the other end of the school to where I can get a tea or a coffee. But I always walk there at break, maybe not every day, every other day, and there'll be a random teacher in there also getting a drink, and I'll just small talk with them while we're making our drinks, have a little chat. It's so nice, and it means that by the time I've got back to my classroom, I've completely switched off and refreshed, and then I go back and I'll start my next lesson. And it's so healthy for me, and I think, I could have worked in those 10 minutes, but it wouldn't have been especially efficient work anyway. And being lonely and isolating yourself to your classroom isn't good for your health, physically or mentally. And it's important to take breaks. That is what I've learned. The days where I work over my lunch, do you know what? It's probably not even that good work because you're always going to be interrupted by people coming in, children come in, go to the toilet, getting coats. So it's definitely worth taking those breaks if you can. And they are all my tips for you today. I'm very apologetic about also the fact I have bronzer and it's white, and it's because of my camera, it's not the best quality, and I've got mascara there and I don't know what my lips are doing and my hair. So that is just being it. It's 5:30 after the first day of school, so that was just to be expected. But I hope to make more YouTube videos, so please comment if you have any requests, and have a lovely week, everybody. Bye!